Welcome to the Campfire, and today we're analyzing District 26A. The teams in this district include Alcee, Hastings, Taylor, Strake Jesuit, Fulshire, Foster, and George Ranch. Let's begin by taking a look at these teams in our film session, presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. In a 7-team district like 26A, teams can afford many slip-ups in order to make the postseason. Last season, Fulshire didn't come close to slipping up as they coasted through the regular season undefeated. Chargers lost a lot to graduation and even lost their head coach, Nick Aduti, to Klein High School, but they will still be the favorites here. Fulshire has plenty of young talent, like quarterback Rylan Forks and a newcomer of the year, Michael Brown, as a receiver. On defense, Evan Ferns is back at linebacker, which will be a problem for other teams in the district. Strake Jesuit, however, has the best player in the district returning in running back Johnny Hebert. The overwhelming district MVP, Hebert ran for over 3,000 yards as a junior. McGregor Byers and Wesley Stewart shore up a strong Crusader defense, which should land them in the postseason. George Ranch will be looking to get back in the playoffs behind cornerback Ellison Collins and running back Hayden Drinkard. Richmond Foster went 4-2 in district play a year ago, and we'll hope Riley Blanton will get them to the top 4 in 26A again this fall. Alcee Elsick is led by a linebacker Raylarian Phillips as they squeezed into the postseason last year. Alcee Hastings has Madden Harvey returning behind center, while Taylor will be looking for a few district wins behind a strong defensive line.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. The Campfire is brought to you by DQ for treats and eats before and after the game.
For an even deeper look at 26A, here's producer Ward Fasold and Matt Stepp from Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football with the District Breakdown.
All right, Stepp, we're talking 26A, and the big shakeup is Fulshire. Not only they graduate a lot of guys, they also graduate a coach who moved on. Who do we got back in there at coaching, and can they have that same kind of dominance they had last year?
Well, I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of dominance, but I still think they have enough to possibly win this district. As Stephen Hill takes over, and Stephen Hill was over state champion last year at Randall. He was an assistant coach at Randall, co-offensive coordinator, a really great dynamic offensive mind. He, if you remember back when Grant Gunnell was at St. Pius, they were slinging it around all over the place. Stephen Hill was the head coach.
All right.
This is a guy who likes so. Fulshire is going to look a lot different this year.
Okay.
We're not going to see a whole lot of wide
sweeps.
And sweeps from Fulshire. It's going to be a lot of airing it out. And they've got the personnel to get it done. Rylan Forks is back at quarterback. He did, you think of Fulshire and how much they run the ball. Forks did throw for almost 1,800 yards last year and 20 touchdowns. His number one target is going to be Mike Brown, 10 receiving touchdowns last year. I think he could have a big year. Trey Giametta, the tight end, could be due for a big year. And they've got an offensive lineman, Righteous Spencer, one of the best names in the state of Texas.
I like that.
My guy Righteous there on the Fulshire offensive line. Fulshire offensively is going to be good.
Give me 1 through 7 as we say goodbye to 26A.
Let's go Fulshire 1. Let's go Strake 2. We're going to go Foster 3. We're going to go George Ranch 4. I'm going to go Hastings 5, Elsick 6, and Taylor rounding it out at 7.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers in our Players on the Rise, presented by Parker University. I'm not sure what Strake Jesuits' John Hebert can do as an encore to his junior season because, frankly, last year he was remarkable. The unanimous Player of the Year in the district, Hebert rushed for over 3,500 yards. He was the leading rusher in Texas and accumulated the second most rushing yards in the nation. Hebert also scored 40 touchdowns on the year. Johnny will be a key target for district defenses, but expect another huge year out of the senior. At George Ranch, Hayden Drinkard is following in the Drinkard name at running back. Much like his brothers before him, Hayden is hard to bring down out of the backfield. He rushed for over 1,500 yards as a junior and 15 total touchdowns. Hayden has a quick first move, which causes the initial first wave of defenders to miss. Trinkard and the Longhorns missed out on the postseason last year, but he aims to fix that this fall. The best offensive lineman in the district could be Alcee Taylor's Dylan Whiteside. At 6'4", 335 pounds, Whiteside owns the trenches. With his brute strength and quickness, Dylan was used in the interior of the Taylor line where he played guard and center. Sandwiching defenders is his claim to fame, as Dylan always finishes his blocks. Defensively, Alcee Elsic's Raylarian Phillips is the most dangerous linebacker in 26A. Phillips has incredible football instincts as he can read a play before it even happens to make that tackle. He finished his junior season with 53 tackles, 8 for loss, 1 sack, a fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown. That wasn't enough. Raylarian also scored 5 times on offense as well.
The film session is presented by the Houston area Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Our Ward Fasold caught up to another head coach in the district to talk 2025 in our Media Day segment.
All right, we're talking 26A with Foster head coach Shane Hanks and Coach. There's 2 ways to look at a 17 district. I choose to look at it as a land of opportunity. I know some coaches maybe not like it because you got to find that 4th non-district game. You don't have a margin for error because if you all of a sudden if you lose a game that you don't feel like you should have lost, you're behind the 8 ball. But it also gives you a chance to what I call steal a game. Like you can be down the whole game and get 2 key turnovers. All of a sudden you get that win, and you're looking on the upper side of the four of the 17s that make the playoffs. How did you look? Did you look at that 17 district last year, and did you learn anything for this year to look at it?
Yeah, you're right. You're playing 4 non-district games, which sometimes you'd rather. Ideally, 3 non-district games to me is good, and then hit district. But hey, it is what it is. So it was a little tougher to find that fourth game this year or this past year, I guess, with realignment. But then when you're looking at a 17 district, you're right. The margin of error is not great, but at the same time, you win 2-3 ball games, you're already locked in the playoffs. And so when we beat George Ranch last year to open up district, that was a huge win. For one, just to get back on the win column, where we started off 0-4, but we had a tough non-district schedule. So we got that, and then when we beat Elsik, in my head I was thinking, okay, great, we need to win, 1 more. But a lot of people were saying, Coach, you're in, you're in. I'm like, no, there's no way we're in with two wins. At least I'm not going to tell the kids that we're in with 2 wins. So that part of it is good, I guess, a peace of mind knowing. You get 2 to 3 wins, you'll lock yourself into the playoffs. I think the biggest thing, though, that we talked about, and even coming into this year too, is where you want to be in the playoffs. And we're number 6 out of 7 with our enrollment for the district, so we're automatically going to be guaranteed that Division II spot in 6A. So now it's like, hey, we need to get the number 1 seed in Division II. Last year it came down to us beating Shrake, and we didn't, and needed some other things to happen too, and that didn't happen either. So we ended up going D2. Number 2 is Division II. So this year our whole sole focus, yes, we'd love to win the district, but yet, how can we claim that number 1 seed in Division II is what we're looking at.
I appreciate you joining me, Coach Hanks, and we'll talk to you down the line.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate you having me.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. Hey, that'll do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we head to Fort Bend ISD to talk about District 21 6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.